Hello and welcome, guys. I have something a little extra special and fun today. I knew this was coming. I have no idea what's in it. This is a very generous and heavy gift from my friend Mark Roback from the 70s Weekly Countdown with Mark and Pete. If you guys haven't checked out that podcast and you're a fan of 70s music, a little bit of 60s music that carried over and a little bit of music that carried over into the 80s, love some Casey Kasem, some countdowns, check out their show. Also, very interestingly, Mark has been on my podcast, both Deep Purple Smoke on the podcast, as well as the Haskincast podcast. We did an 8-hour breakdown of the movie Jaws for the 50th anniversary. We just started with, hey, let's talk about this film. How are we going to do this? I don't know. We'll go through it chronologically. Next thing you know, 8 hours worth of podcasting later, we've covered all the acts. Lots of fun. You can check that out on YouTube or on the audio feed through the Haskincast podcast. But Mark has been saying for a while he's got some albums in his wife's collection that he wanted to send to me, and the package arrived today. I'm very excited to dig into it. But guys, I mean, look at this. I can tell you it's quite heavy too. So, you know, there's going to be some stuff in here. I know that they're albums, so I'll tell you, I will be going through these and doing an episode on the Album a Day feed. Once I get them cataloged and have some time in the meantime, I'll be going through the 45s for a little bit longer, and then I'll jump back into these. I still haven't listened to my Rapture the Deep album from yesterday. That's going to be the next thing I do. Always put your knife back in the sheath, even if it's a 20-year-old blade that is pretty dull but works anyway. So let's see what's in here. And first of all, whatever this is, thank you, Mark. Very, very generous of you, very considerate, and well packaged, I might add. So let's see what we've got. Ooh, right off the bat. This is one I was actually thinking about getting from my collection, but I didn't, and forgot to add it back to the list. So this is very cool. This is Madonna, Into the Groove. I love this song. Excellent song by Madonna from the movie. Oh, what was the movie? I don't remember. Suddenly Seeking Susan. Desperately Seeking Susan. I think that's it. Suddenly Susan was a television show with Brooke Shields. Anyway, there's some cool stuff on here. 12-inch maxi single. Side 1 is Angel. Side 2 is Into the Groove. So that is the motion picture version too. This is at 45 RPM. Very cool. Very nice. Thank you, Mark. And this is just the first one, guys. Just the first one. And I have no idea. He didn't tell me a single album that's in here, so I have no idea what I'm getting here. Then we get some more Madonna. We got Borderline, an excellent song, another maxi single from Madonna here. We've got Borderline on side A with a new mix, and Lucky Star with a new mix on the second side. But check it out. Borderline is 6 minutes and 54 seconds. Lucky Star is 7:13. That's a lot of Borderline and Lucky Star. So very, very cool. Nice to increase my Madonna. I do have a Madonna 45 that is not one of these songs that I will be, I don't think I covered it already because it's a 45. I may have covered it with part of my Madonna collection, but I don't think so. Either way, fuck it, I'm going to do an episode on it anyway. So there's that. Then we go to the next one here. Ooh, the soundtrack from Wildcats. Oh, this is some good stuff right here. This is some vintage music. Some of the stuff that I absolutely love. If you guys can see that there. We get, let's see, Good Hands, Show Me How It Works, Razzle Dazzle, not the Deep Purple song, Don't Want to Be Normal, Rocket, Penetration, Hard to Say, Love Lives Alone, Molly's Theme, and We Stand Alone. Some good stuff, some great artists too. The Isley Brothers, Mavis Staples, Michael Jeffries, Randy Crawford, Cindy Justin, Brenda Russell, Piano in the Dark, if you know that song, James Ingram, Tata Vega, James Newton Howard, I mean, composer extraordinaire, and Joe Cocker. Joe Cocker he's the Bob Dylan that I like. I think Bob Dylan's a great storyteller. I don't like his voice, so it really makes it hard to want to listen to his music. But Joe Cocker would be the Bob Dylan that I want to listen to. Also a great storyteller. So yeah, excellent, excellent. Happy to have all these in my collection. Oh, Now we've got a sealed Linda Ronstadt Greatest Hits Volume 2. Very, very cool. Done like a scrapbook, kind of the binder picture here with the cover font. That's nice. So this is Volume 2 with It's So Easy, I Can't Let Go, Hurt So Bad, Blue Bayou, I know that one. How Do I Make You, Back in the USA, Ooh Baby Baby, good song, Poor Little Pitiful Me. Boy, that's a theme song for a lot of people. Tumbling Dice, Just One Look, excellent song, I love that one. And Someone to Lay Down Beside Me, I don't know that one. So yeah, awesome. Love some Linda Ronstadt. She's got one of those voices that, is soothing but kind of exciting at the same time. Really good stuff. Great singer. All right. This is already just a fantastic, even if this was all there was, like this is just an incredible haul. Now we get some Janis Joplin. This is some vintage classic stuff. I mean, Janis, one of the original female singers of rock and roll. This is her greatest hits. Definitely some familiar stuff on here. Boy, you just get that 60s look right off of this album, between just the dullness of the background photograph, like that only came from a certain time period before we made everything like just sharp and ridiculous. So yeah, we get some good stuff. Piece of My Heart, classic song, Summertime. They just a little bit harder. Try. It's hard to read this font. Try just a little bit harder, and I'm also getting old. Cry Baby, Me and Bobby McGee, classic song. This is definitely a best of. Down on Me, Get It While You Can, Bye Bye Baby, Moreover, and Ball and Chain. Yeah, some really good stuff. This is Full Tilt Boogie Band. So it's Janis Joplin's greatest hits with the Full Tilt Boogie Band. Interesting. Yeah, great. Now she's one that I have to listen to her voice in chunks, right? Like I typically can't listen to a full album of hers because I really like a couple songs, and then after that I'm like, okay, I need to go listen to something else. Her voice is a little scratchy for me, but this is definitely a great collection of songs. Thank you, Mark. And as we continue on our journey here through this treasure trove gift, very generous gift from Mark, we get some Elvis. Elvis is somebody that I don't think I've ever really appreciated enough. So to be able to dig a little more into his catalog, definitely great. And we get some hits, 16 original hits, Elvis love songs. That's got to be some of his best stuff, right? So we got Elvis right here, still in the original cellophane here, which is really nice. But we get some good stuff. Suspicious Minds. That is my favorite Elvis song. So to have that on vinyl, thumbs up on that alone. Then we get She's Not You, The Wonder of You, Love Letters, Wooden Heart. It just reminds me I need to watch Puppet Master. I Want You, I Need You, I Love You. Memories, Kentucky Rain on side 1. Side 2, we get Love Me Tender, one of his best vocal deliveries of the songs that I know. It's Now or Never. Are You Lonesome Tonight? You Don't Have to Say You Love Me. I just can't help believing. Excuse me. Can't Help Falling in Love. Another one. Man, I've never heard anybody do that song better than Elvis. And then Surrender and Lovin' You. Very, very cool stuff. I have to wonder, is that the Lovin' You that they parodied on South Park? I don't know. I'm gonna find out. Great stuff, man. Elvis is just. He's somebody I just don't think I've appreciated enough. Obviously, the mark that he made on the music world, on the film world, on the world of like storytelling musicals. So much that he was involved in. Absolutely incredible artist. The closest I got was when my friends from the $1 Million Quartet were doing a sideshow in Vegas. And they had the Elvis impersonator there. Very, very impressive. Lots of fun. There's only 3 of them too, which was interesting. Manhattan Transfer, excellent. This is a live album. Oh, I love this cover. I don't know why, I especially love that guy. Speaking of South Park, that just looks like something out of South Park. Manhattan Transfer. Boy from New York City was on my K-Tel Dimensions album, I want to say. So I think that's the only song I know by them. So this should be interesting. We get Four Brothers, Rambo. Rambo. Meet Benny Bailey, Airgin, Airegin, don't know about that. To You, Sing Joy Spring, and Move is side 1. Side 2, that's a lot of songs for a live album. But I would think a band like this, you're not going to get like extended jams or something like you would with like a Led Zeppelin or Deep Purple or something like that. Side 2, that's Killer Joe, The Duke of Dubuque, Gloria, excellent song, I love Gloria. On the Boulevard, Shaker Song, and Ray's Rock House. So this should be interesting, very interesting. Also very interesting how they did the back here. That's like the whole band and it just kind of lines up. Very nice artwork too. I like this. I'm usually pretty critical of album covers because I don't typically get the concept, but I actually really like this. And that does have like a live feel to it. Very well done. Manhattan Transfer, nice. I'm definitely excited about that. Here we have, let's see, what is this? Ooh, George Benson. Now, I'm thinking, I don't know George Benson very well. I'm thinking bluesy saxophone comes to mind. I have no idea if any of that's right, but that's what's coming to mind. I will certainly find out. Interesting album cover here. Looks like donut glaze on a like a vanilla donut. And now I want a donut. And that's actually awesome. That's Relief too. I don't know how they were doing that back in the day, but this is the George Benson collection. Lots of best ofs in here. I like that. This is 2 LPs, it looks like. Yes, 2 LPs. And side 1, we get Turn Your Love Around, Love All the Hurt Away, Give Me the Night, Cast Your Fate to the Wind. That's side 1. Side 2, we get Never Give Up on a Good Thing on Broadway. That song I know. White Rabbit. I love White Rabbit. This Masquerade. I think I know that one, but I'm not sure. Then we go to side 3 or album 2, side A. We get Love Ballad, Nature Boy, Last Train to Clarksville. I think I know that one. Was it the Beatles that did that? I want to say like earlier Beatles maybe. I'm hearing Paul McCartney's voice for some reason. Living Inside Your Love, and then on side 4 we get one of my favorite Beatles songs, Here Comes the Sun. Can't wait to hear George Benson do that. Breezin', Moody's Mind, We've Got the Love, and Greatest Love of All. I wonder if that's the Whitney Houston song. She did covers too, so it could be the same one. I think that was that from The Bodyguard? I'm asking a lot of questions and there's no one here to answer it. Where's my chat GPT? No, very cool. Very, very cool. Be interested to dig into this. This is a lot of stuff that is like bands and artists I've been like, I should check them out more, and I never do. So this is great reasoning to dig into their catalog and see what they're all about. Thank you, Mark. This is awesome. Got a few more here. Actually got quite a few more here. I might have to break this into 2 videos because it's like an hour long. Michael Feinstein, Pure Gershwin. Now Gershwin, amazing artist. I have to say, not very familiar catalog-wise, but the stuff that I know by Gershwin, because I don't listen typically to those kind of musicals. I actually don't typically listen to musicals, but there are definitely some great songs from Gershwin. This one has got, is it 5 Foot Wonderful? Looks like 5 Foot Wonderful. It's hard to read. Our Love Is Here to Stay. We get Liza, The World Is Mine. They Can't Take That Away From Me. I know that one. Isn't It a Pity? I know that one. Let's Call the Whole Thing Off. I know that one. Then we go to side 2, Embraceable You. This song, there was, back in the 80s, I don't know what that's about. Back in the 80s, we used to have commercials for these like box sets, right? And they would come on cassette or like 5 records or 8 cassettes or whatever, and you could make payments. And it was a really cool time. But they would be these long infomercials where they would play these little clips of the songs. And I don't know who it was that was singing it. I want to say it was like a Roberta Flack maybe, or somebody, but there was this really great male-female version of Embraceable You, so I'm curious to hear this. Then we get What Causes That, which I'm not familiar with. He Loves and She Loves, How Long Has This Been Going On? Good long title. That sounds like a film score title, doesn't it? And then They All Laughed, The Girl I Love, and Someone to Watch Over Me. Beautiful song. I first heard that in Mr. Holland's Opus. But then I realized I had heard it before in a television show called WKRP. It was the one of those Christmas episodes where, or not Christmas, but it was around Christmas where it was snowing, the heat was off, and she showed up, and they were drinking whiskey to try and stay warm, and then she got drunk and requested Gershwin, and they played Someone to Watch Over Me, and she sang along to it in her deep Mother Carlson voice, I have to say. I think I'll do one more, and then I'll split this into another video. Let's see here what this is. This is, looks like a compilation, The Greatest Groups from Brookville Records from RCA. And boy, I don't know what's going on with these people, but they're having quite a day. There's nothing on the cover to tell me what's going on. So let's dig inside. I like that green and black though. Now I want some mint chip ice cream. It's just going to be a sugar fest over here today because apparently this is just touching all the diabetic things I'm not supposed to have. Okay, so we get this lovely RCA logo here. Oh, that's interesting too. They've got a relief stamp in here that's actually bubbled up, and it looks like it was meant to be. So this is side A. It's in stereo, so that's always good. We get In the Mood. We get You from the Amos Brothers. We get Stardust from Tommy Dorsey. I'll be with you in the Apple Blossom Time. That name, it's familiar, but I can't place it. That's the Andrews Sisters. Think of the Andrews Sisters from like Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy, you know. Then we get You Always Hurt the One You Love by Mills Brothers. Excellent song. I love the harmonies that they used to have back in this time, you know, just amazing songwriter. The performance was so vocal based and the music was really a secondary thing, but always very nice and enjoyable. Then we get Street of Dreams by Tommy Dorsey. I'm sure it's not the same one that Rainbow did because Rainbow wrote theirs. We get Old Buttermilk Sky. I should have named my ex that. That would have been fun. Then we get Till Then from the Mills Brothers. Bell Mir Biast, that's got to be German, in another song by the Andrews Sisters. Then Dream, the Pied Pipers. And we get Ragmop from the Amos Brothers again. And that's with an orchestra. See, that's another thing too, is back in this era, a lot of times bands would not be backed by a band, they'd be backed by an orchestra or smaller orchestral sections, a string section, a little bit of brass, you know, a saxophone, something like that. So it's always interesting what you would get. Then we go to side C, and this is Paper Dolls by the Mills Brothers. Obviously, when you're doing these compilations, you're using artists that are signed to your label. With K-Tel, it was a little bit different because K-Tel just did compilations, but this looks like a record company promo compilation. Then we get another one I can't pronounce. Also looks German, by the King Sisters and Buddy Cole and his orchestra. So that's good. I'll Never Smile Again, Tommy Dorsey. Twilight Time, The Three Sons. That sounds familiar, but I can't think of it in the moment. Don't Get Around Much Anymore by the Ames Brothers. So lots of repeat artists on here, but that's great because some of these artists are fantastic. Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy by the Andrews Sisters. Boy, did I call that or what? Another one I can't pronounce. This one is in French, and it's Melody of Love. I stopped studying French years ago, and so I've completely lost my ability to interpret it. I can't even remember like some of the gender things, like whether a me is spelled with an I-E for male or I for female. I honestly can't even remember. Then we get Moonglow by the King Sisters with the Rhythm Rays. I don't know what that is. Peg of My Heart by the Harmonicats. Peter Gardot sent me What's New Harmonicats. So a little tie-in between the two guys that run the 70s Weekly Countdown with Mark and Pete. And that was right about a year ago. I think it was, no, it wasn't last August. It was last June or so a little over a year ago that Pete sent me his giant, generous gift. Then we get There Are Such Things by Tommy Dorsey and his orchestra. And then This Land Is Your Land by the Limelighters. That's a cool name. I like that. Excellent collection here. I have to say, this is a great choice of songs. I mean, if you're limited to a certain number of artists, you want to pick some songs that are going to catch people's eye so that they'll want to buy them instead of just maybe they already own the 45. But then you go to get the collection, and you're like, okay, well, there's this song that's familiar, so I already know I'm going to like something on the album. And then, you get all these added mixed in songs. That is a great collection. And I really like this cover. really kind of thin for cardboard, and for a double album too. But very nice cover. I love the color on that. And now I want either a mint chip ice cream cone or a shamrock shake, neither of which are good for me or I'm gonna have. So I think I'm gonna break this into 2 videos then. I'll stop right here. I'll go film the other one now and upload those separately. That way you're not tied into watching a really long video, but this is an incredible collection so far. Thank you so much, Mark. This is very, very generous of you. I'm looking forward to digging into the rest here in just a minute. Cheers, guys.